And we are live. Oh, I am so excited for today's live stream. We have the powerful Clay Lawrence from Review Harvest joining me today. How are you doing today, Clay?
Doing great. I'm doing great. What an intro. I appreciate the kind words.
Today, I wanted Clay. He is a master when it comes to SEO, but I wanted Clay to join me today to break down 5 SEO lies that are killing your pet waste removal business. Before we go into the meat of the topic, Clay, for people who don't know who you are, can you just do a quick intro on what you do, what's Review Harvest? I just want to give you an opportunity to share with the audience what you're about.
Yeah, for sure. No, so my name's Clay Lawrence, based out of Florida. I've been working in the digital marketing space and stuff like that since I was in high school. And the past couple of years, I've been working on building Review Harvest. Review Harvest is a software for local business owners to get more Google reviews and to make that as easy as possible. So.
Honestly, Review Harvest has been one of the best things that I've invested in for my own business. We'll talk a little bit more about Review Harvest later on the live stream, but it's it's helped me blow up my Google reviews. Just as a caveat, I ended up getting like 100 Google reviews in a span of a week just because of Review Harvest. So Clay knows his shit. He is super smart. His platform is amazing. But before we dive into that, I want to just level set with everyone. We're going to be talking about SEO or search engine optimization. So, Clay, what is SEO or search engine optimization? We hear this everywhere for businesses, and it's super important for you to grow and focus on your SEO. But what is it? Like, how do you take control of it? What the heck is SEO?
100%. No, 100%. It can be a black hole of information and misinformation. It can seem very overwhelming. From your potential customer's perspective, right? Think about SEO as someone's typing in your main keyword, which might be poop scooping, pet waste removal, poop scooper service, something like that. And SEO, if you're doing SEO right, you'll be popping up at the top of Google when they type that in. And so, kind of the 3 ways I like to break down SEO and how to do it and what you need to do to have your ducks in a row is Google needs to know 3 things. They need to know what you do. So, that'll be pet waste removal, poop scooping services, stuff like that. They need to know where you do it. So, they need to know your service area, where they should actually rank you if that user is typing something in. Should they rank you in that area? And the third thing they need to know is they need to know that you're good at it, right? They need to know that you're actually the type of business that they would want to rank. And so that would come down to obviously your reviews. That would come down to your citations and backlinks, which we can talk more about later. But basically, think about reviews and citations and backlinks as basically references for your business, telling Google that you are an authority in the space and that you are still in business and they should recommend you. So they're trying to mimic kind of the same thing that happens in a social setting from like human to human connection, where it's like you recommend a business. Well, if 5 or 6 or 10 other people recommend that same business, I'm going to be a lot more likely to work with that business, right? So Google's doing it the same way. Google wants to see what business has lots of references, reviews, citations, backlinks to rank. And once they have that, you've got to make sure that what you do and where you do it are dialed in on your site and your Google Business profile, so Google even knows what to rank you for. So.
Red Tail Ray, he mentioned, I was hesitant at first, but I had a nice chat with Clay's wife, Carly. Carly's getting some love from the chat.
Heck yeah. She deserves it. She's cool.
100%. Working with the Review Harvest team, you guys have been awesome, answering all my silly questions and helping me get onboarded with the platform. But it's been great. So I love seeing that Carly's also getting put some respect on her name, you know?
That's right. That's right.
So that was a great introduction on SEO. So I just want to dive into the content now. We have 5 SEO myths that Clay is going to help debunk today. And then, if time permitting, during the live stream, we're also going to do some live website and Google profile business roast. So make sure you tune in till the end because Clay is going to destroy your website and Google business profile. But before we get to that, the first myth that I want to talk about was myth number 1, using keywords when responding to Google reviews post Q&A. This is actually the myth that actually prompted us to do this live stream because you were onboarding me to Review Harvest. And one of the cool features of Review Harvest is your AI response to um, Google reviews. And I asked you, is your AI putting in keywords in the reply? And you gave me a master class. It's a common misconception. You gave me a master class on why you shouldn't put keywords in your Google reviews. So I just wanted you to break down, like, do you need to be putting Google keywords in the Google reviews? What about when you're posting on Google or in the Google Q&A section? How important is keywords?
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. Yeah, so if we rewind 4 or 5 years or even further back, there was this kind of trend of like, hey, if I put my keywords like pet waste removal and my service area, your city name and all that stuff in my review responses, I'll get a boost in the ranking. I will rank higher because I have those in the response. And obviously, when people find out about these trends and things that we can just do manually and stuff to rank higher on Google, business owners take advantage of it and abuse it, right? And so Google very quickly patched that whole, not having any sort of ranking factor in on how you're ranking on that first page of Google in the local map pack or whatever. And so now you just want to respond as a human would. You want to respond as if you were sitting down and taking the time to respond. And so when we respond to reviews, we respond in a human-like manner, just like you or I would if we were going to respond to this person's review. What is important to delineate, though, is that keywords in the actual review are very important, right? So your actual customer leaving the review and saying this is the best pooper scooper service in area name, Ogden, Utah, or whatever it is very important. That Google loves to see that. And obviously we have less control over that, but that is very important. You definitely you want your customers to do that. The tricky thing is when we've tested this before is that you don't want to make leaving a review sound like work. And so people will then say, oh, sweet. Well, then I will go ahead and tell people when you're going to go leave me a review, make sure you include this word and that word and the other. And what happens is people just don't end up leaving the review at all because you make it sound like a chore or work, right? We want to make sure when we're prompting these reviews, we say, hey, it's just a couple clicks. And then you'll organically get people that spill their guts and get on their soapbox about how amazing your business is, right? Organically, you'll get that. And then the people that aren't like that aren't going to leave a long review, but at least they left a review because if you told them to say X, Y, and Z, they probably want it. And so in terms of review responses, that's kind of the dealio. It's you don't have to include keywords in there. If it comes up organically, that makes sense, but you just want to sound like a human, right? And in terms of your posts and your Q&A and stuff like that and your description on your Google Business Profile, once again, this is not a ranking factor. Stuffing a bunch of keywords in your posts or your Q&A or your description is not going to help you rank higher on Google. When we look at those things, those things are showing Google that one, you're active and you completed your Google Business Profile, but two, it's just showing Google that that you are just what you do in your reputable business. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but yeah. So you just want to do posts, you want to do Q&As, you want to do stuff like that, but don't stuff keywords in there. It's not going to help you rank higher.
And the funny thing is, you're not going to trick Google. Google controls the entire world. They're going to know if you're stuffing keywords, if you're trying to finagle the system.
Yeah.
The moment you try doing any sort of chicanery like that, they're just going to put negative marks on you, and then it'll actually de-rank you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, in terms of like if you get really bad with it, if you get really bad with it, there could be some negative effects. You probably have to really try to abuse it, but for the most part, it's just not going to do anything.
We got David Treadwell who said, Review Harvest killed it for me. Went from 65 reviews to 102 in 5 days.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And our buddy John Noonan, hey boys,
What's up, John?
I love John. John's
talking to John earlier.
John's the one who told me about Review Harvest in the first place. I think John single-handedly brought Review Harvest on the Pooper Scooper map.
He did. He did. He connected. He was the reason I got connected with Erica pretty much. I mean, he kind of started that trend of like me finally getting in touch with everybody in the industry. So shout out to John. He was one Facebook Messenger away. He was a little bit hesitant. He had to switch over from a different software like a lot of people do, but I think he's been enjoying
John,
it.
John's a beast. Josh E, for SEO, does it matter what website creator you use to build your website?
Yeah, this is a very popular question. For the most part, the answer is no. Like you just want to do the basics across any website. If we're really like getting nitty gritty and into the technical stuff, you want to make sure you have the whatever builder you're using has great speed, loading speed on mobile and desktop and stuff like that. But for 99.9% of poop scoopers out there, you should probably mainly just focus on making sure you're making the most of wherever your website is. It's definitely not worth transferring over. What I recommend for website builders is I recommend something that you're comfortable in and you're able to use. Because as a business owner, you need to treat your website not exactly like social media, but you need to be able to edit that stuff, add content, add valuable, reviews, add keywords, add blogs and stuff like that throughout your website. And so you want to use something that you actually are able to use. Like I know a lot of people do like WordPress because WordPress is kind of the gold standard for load speed and all that sort of stuff, but then they don't know how to edit anything on it. It's like you'd be much better off using something like Squarespace or Wix or something that you actually are able to use and write more content and add pages and stuff like that as needed. So yeah. If
And
you're going to go like a really big business and you're trying to go like national and have rank for SEO and stuff all across the world, all across the country, then that would probably be when it would matter. But just in your local area, you're probably chilling.
and the reality is like your website is a billboard online that works for you 24/7, and it's so important for your success as a business owner. If you're not comfortable building a website, that's something that you should delegate to a professional to build
Yeah.
you something that actually works.
Yeah, yeah, and I think even like, especially in terms of the setup and actually creating the website. But even then, after that, either they need to have some sort of package where you're able to send them new content and they can make new pages, new blog posts, and new stuff like that, or edit stuff as needed, or you need to be comfortable doing that in the builder, because if you're going to have to do those as your business grows and as you want to rank higher on Google.
100%. John Noonan said, best decision ever went from 140 reviews to now 490.
We're
That
gonna hit we're
is
gonna hit
crazy.
500. We're gonna hit 500, John.
All you have to do is sneeze and you're going to get like another 10.
That's right. That's right.
And Courtney from San Diego Scoop Squad, she is on the live stream too. You got a lot of review harvest people. What's the correct terminology for a review harvester? Like, is there one?
I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe we'll call ourselves the Harvesters, or I don't know what we'll call the tribe. We'll have to figure that out.
So that was awesome when it came to the keywords. Myth number two that I wanted to talk about: having a large number of backlinks is required to have a high domain rating to rank on search. Just to level set with everyone, can you explain what a backlink is?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So a backlink is somewhere else on the World Wide Web that your website is listed, right? So a lot of people will get citations and backlinks confused. They're a little bit different there. So think of a citation as anywhere your name, address, and phone number are listed, almost as like a listing on Yellow Pages or a Yelp, or like your Google Business Profile is one of your most powerful citations because your name, address, phone number, website, all that stuff is listed there. Whereas a backlink might just be your website is featured in a blog, right? And so that's kind of what a backlink is. But then when it comes to is it required for a high domain rating, this once again is required to rank on search. This once again goes down to depends on the area. Honestly, there's a bunch of poop scooping industries and markets out there right now where if you just get a decent website, you have a decent amount of reviews, and your Google Business Profile is set up correctly, you'll be chilling. In the more competitive areas, then having some backlinks would be important. And so, yeah, that backlink is just like basically somebody's adding your website link to their website. And so when someone types in Poop Scooper Service in Ogden, Utah, or Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever, Google's going and searching and seeing how many other places are these businesses I'm about to rank listed on Google. If you're listed more than your other people, you'll get a leg up in that category. So that's kind of about backlinks. But when it comes to backlinks, when you go even deeper, you want relevancy, right? So there's two kind of forms of relevancy. One is service specific relevancy. So meaning that if you're a poop scooper service, if there's a directory for poop scoopers, which I'm sure there is like APOLs and all that stuff, then you want to make sure you have a listing, you have some sort of content on that, on that specific service specific website. This could be like local animal shelters in your area. This could be anything that's like pet related, would be very valuable for you. So that's kind of the service specific. It's other links on other sites that are similar to your business or in the same industry. And that's just showing Google like, oh, this is kind of what type of business they are, right? And then the other side of it is local relevancy. So if you have like a local chamber of commerce or local businesses, that's showing Google kind of where you are. And so that's kind of the two sides of the coin for it. But for most people, it's not required to have a whole bunch. And if you do a little bit of work, you could probably get 3 to 5 quality backlinks in a month or two if you just reach out to local people in your area or people that you know and offer to write a blog post for them, for their business, and link back to you.
Or you could have something like referral partners where
Yep.
you have a page on your website that says, these are my trusted websites, or these
Yeah.
are the trusted businesses that I do business with. And then
100%.
you give them a backlink, and most people will be more than happy to list your website on their page.
100%. 100%.
So we had a question in the chat. Clay, do you review harvest manually, personally, or use AI? I don't really understand the question.
If it's about responding to reviews, we use AI. If it's about sending out the review requests, that's just part of the automation and software. There's really no AI component to actually sending out the review requests. But yeah, I don't know if that answers it, but
Going back to the backlink, so I see online there's a lot of services out there that'll say like, we'll get you 100 backlinks for $50 or whatever. But when you actually do the research, it's like junk articles on like
yeah,
junk websites.
yeah.
So how bad is it to use those services, or should you be using those types of services? Because I know some of those providers, they'll give you backlinks from websites with very high domain rating, but it's still
Mhm.
like a junk website. So
Yeah.
how does Google factor in when it's like a fake website?
Yeah. In terms of like, is it not worth using the services? Depending on the price, everything's got a price. For 30 or $50, it might be worth just to go ahead and throw it. It shouldn't hurt your rating too much unless this website is like really doing nefarious stuff. But when you have, it's important to know like when your link is on a page on a website, Google knows how many people are going to that page. And so the website might have a decent domain authority, but if that specific page on the website has gotten 3 views in the last, year, like Google knows that, and so it's not going to give you much juice. And so for backlinks, I think that's maybe good to get started, but it's probably worth taking the time to find some local businesses in your area, find some other similar businesses online that you could create blog posts for and become a partner for, and just go ahead and get a couple of quality ones, even if it's like just a local business that they might only get 10 views or 20 views to that page every month. If it's just a local business, it's still probably better than that crappy little, page way off in the depths of some website that you paid $1 for.
And if it's like a local business, it could bring in actual leads in your local area that may sign
100%.
up with you,
100%.
compared to a random website in the middle of nowhere where you're
Yeah.
never going to get anyone.
100%.
So, myth number 3 that I want to talk about, geotagging your photos and using keywords in the image file names will help you rank higher. So, there are some other services out there, I don't want to name anything, but they'll allow you to post on your Google business profile, and it'll associate you keep bringing up Ogden, Utah. I'm in Ogden, so
Yeah.
it'll know this picture was taken in Ogden, Utah, and I uploaded it. Does that actually matter when it comes to your Google business profile?
No, no, not at all. There's been plenty of studies, like Sterling Sky is a big SEO research company. They looked into it and saw absolutely no increase in ranking across all the tests they ran. When you upload that photo to Google, it's going to strip the metadata. And so then if you upload the photo, then you go to an incognito window and try to download the image again from your Google Business profile, just like a normal person would, it's not going to come over with any of that metadata. And so people made the argument though that Google is looking for that data and they're going to save that data, right? but they've done plenty of studies on this. White Spark does a really good study every year where they interview and get lots of SEO agencies. I think it was like 30 or 40 to fill out a super long questionnaire and run some tests and all this stuff. And it was actually the number one myth, or number one or number two myth, in the 2023 study. And the 2024 study hasn't come out yet, but yeah, it doesn't. Don't waste your time on it. And a lot of times, like, I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but when people are trying to sell you the fact that, oh, you just need to post a whole bunch on your Google and you need to add FAQs every day and you need to geotag your images, they're probably just trying to sell you like a service that they can provide really easily. Like, if that was the thing where we could just add posts and add geotag images and add Q&As every week, and it really would help you rank on Google. One, a lot more people would be doing it. And also Review Harvest would probably provide some sort of service for that. But it really it doesn't help you rank on Google. There's some of those things, not the geotagged images, but like posts and FAQs, that can be a conversion rate factor, which we'll get into later. And one of the myths, that can be a conversion rate factor because these people are looking at your business and you already have the awareness. They're looking for your service, and this can help them choose you over your competitors, but it's not necessarily going to help you rank higher.
And what about file names? Because I remember back in the day, I would make sure to put all the keywords in my file name
Yeah.
before uploading it, and wondered why I never ranked for those keywords.
Yeah. So this is actually a good delineation. John posted this, and on your website. So geotagging images on your website and file names on your website. I'm not 1,000% positive about the ranking of it. I think last time I checked, that would help you rank on your actual website, right? But in terms of the Google Business Profile, adding that stuff to the Google Business Profile, Google's going to strip all the data. It's not going to help you rank. But actually, on your website for SEO and stuff like that, and adding alt text, that will help you rank.
And I lost my train of thought. But Courtney just asked, should we still use real photos or stock images?
Yeah, this is a good one, especially with AI now. You can make pretty realistic images that don't look like stock images. I think stock images are fine when you're getting started, but the sooner you can go and just take a couple photos with your phone, like it takes 5 minutes. Go outside, snap some photos of your phone with your shirt on, with you out scooping, with your face. It's going to be incredibly valuable in terms of, not only in terms of just like SEO, having a unique image and stuff like that, and having the alt text and all that stuff on your website, but also just in terms of conversion rate factor. Like, people see and feel the hominess of that brand when that you are the business owner and you are listed on the site. People can most of the time see through stock images and stuff like that. And we're a little bit more susceptible to it as business owners who might be looking at a bunch of other people's websites all the time. And we see the same stock images here, but if you got 5 minutes, go take some photos with your iPhone, and just to add that homey feeling to your brand and your site, and not be like so sterile.
And this ties into the geotagging stuff. So those local images on your website, if you're using custom photos, but you're using like a landmark, we'll use Ogden for example. If there's like a famous landmark in
Yeah.
Ogden and I'm using that in my photo, is
Yeah.
that going to help with ranking?
In terms of putting that to your Google Business, in terms of putting it on your Google Business Profile, no. In terms of adding it to your website with alt text, file name, and geotagging, maybe on your website specifically, yes, that probably will help with ranking. But when it comes to like this sort of stuff, this is kind of in the minutia of the smaller things that actually contribute, because there's 148 or 150. I mean, there's actually a lot, but there's a lot of different ranking factors in terms of what's going to actually move the needle. And these are ranking factors. It's just they're like pretty low. The main things are like, you want to have your main primary category on your Google Business Profile be correct, right? That's huge. Having your main service, having your main keyword in your business name on Google is huge. It is like the most powerful thing. And it's technically keyword stuffing, and it's technically not compliant within Google's terms of services, but Google doesn't really govern it that well unless competitors are reporting it. And so the legit way to do this is to get a DBA that has your main keyword in your business name. So Salazar Scoops Poop Scooping Service. And that's your DBA. You get that in your state, and then you change your Google Business Profile to that. And then if Google, there's a good chance you change your Google Business Profile to that and nothing happens, and they just let it ride, and they don't ever change it. But in 3 months, 6 months, if they do come back and say, hey, we changed it back to this, we think this is what your name is, then you just submit the paperwork, say, hey, this is actually my business name, check out our DBA, and that's a trump card, and you can actually keep that main service in your keyword in your service business name. And also looking for consistency across that, right? So if you have a really long Google business profile name that has all these keywords in it, and they go to your website and it's not listed on your website like that, it's not in your logo, all this stuff, then you'll be more susceptible to getting flagged for that because there's no consistency.
So you're telling me I need to rebrand my business name to put in keywords now?
What I would do if I were you is I would get it. I wouldn't change. Don't worry about changing the logo. Don't worry about changing the wraps on your truck or anything like that. But what I would do is I would probably add poop scooping service to your business name, get a DBA for it so it's compliant and so you don't have to worry about it. And then on your website, on the header of your website, just say Salazar Scoops Poop Scooping Service to keep that consistency from your Google Business profile to your website. And then also, if you really wanted to go to the next step, you could just create like a custom logo just for the landing page of your website that has Poop Scooping Service in it, like underneath your logo or something.
That right there is worth the price of admission to this live stream, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of people who they're starting their business, they're still trying to figure out a name for their business, but I think putting in specific key words in your business name will help tremendously. One of my biggest competitors, I'm not going to say their name, but they do exactly that. So then
Yep.
when people type in keyword Utah, they pop up number one, and it's very difficult to compete against them.
Yeah, I have reports that I can show y'all where like I've had clients that are ranking in the top on the first page of Google like 13 or 14% of the time. We add their keyword and within 3 hours they're ranking in 85% of their area, service area on the first page of Google. Like it is the most powerful thing. And it's like the thing with Google is like when it comes to Google, you want to look what Google's actually doing and not necessarily listen to what they're saying, right? They're saying one thing to like apply to everybody and be very, by the letter of the law, all this stuff, but then go actually look what they're ranking, actually look who's ranking in your area and what they're doing. And you want to kind of mimic that, but you also want to play within the rules. And so that's why you need to get the DBA and have the consistency, because you don't want to get your account restricted or your name changed back and you not be able to deal with it. If you play within the rules, there's nothing you can do about it. If the name of your business is Pet Waste Removal Ogden, and that's the name of your business, they have to let you list that on Google.
Mm-hmm. That's that's like a game changer. I'm probably going to contact a lawyer now and rebrand everything.
It's pretty easy to get. In most states, it's pretty easy to get a DBA.
Alicia asked a great question, which is actually a perfect segue to our next myth. Hello, Anthony Clay. Should we post in our Google business page regularly, like social media, to improve ranking and answering our own questions? Which goes into myth four, quantity and frequency of Google posts. So, Clay, how often should we be posting on our Google business profile? Can I post 100 times in one day and I'll immediately be ranked number one?
No, no, not at all. Not at all. Google Business posts are not a ranking factor. So once again, they're not going to help you rank higher on Google. If they did, I would be like, yeah, everybody needs to post on Google, and we probably have it as some sort of our service with Review Harvest, right? But when you think about Google posts, you kind of want to think of them as social media posts. Excuse me. You kind of want to think of them as social media posts, but think of them as more salesy. And I would probably recommend about one time per week. And so on your Instagram, you might just be posting pretty photos and kind of build the brand and just mention whatever. But on your actual Google business profile, when you're posting, making a post or an update is what they call it, you want this to be more salesy. Because if you think about it from the frame of mind, people on Facebook and Instagram already know who you are. They already kind of know what you do, whatever. People on your Google business profile are actively looking for a service. So you want your Google business profile to highlight a feature, highlight part of your service, highlight a review, make it more, highlight an offer that you're running, make it more salesy because
A deadline?
yeah, these are the people that are looking to make a purchasing decision. So you want every single Google business profile post to be something that could push them over the edge to choose you over somebody else.
And when people are going on Google, they're like you said, Clay, they're actively looking for the service, and Google rewards people who closely match the search intention of the
Mm,
query.
mm,
So the closer you can serve the end user with what you're posting based off of what they typed in,
mm.
Google is going to reward you with that SEO juice.
100%, 100%.
So David mentioned poop scooping service versus pet waste removal are both viable with matching DBA and Google Business Profile.
Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to find what more people are typing in your area, and it's actually easier than it sounds. What you want to do, I can kind of walk through. I could kind of walk through it on kind of just off the top of my head, but you go to your Google Business Profile. You go to where you manage your Google Business Profile, right? So make sure you're logged in with the email that manages it. Type in the name of your business to Google, and it should pop up where it says your Google Business Profile, right? From there, you want to click on Performance, and you want to scroll down. And when you scroll down, you'll be able to see the search breakdown of what people are typing in when your business is popping up.
Do you
And
do you want not to interrupt? Do you want to share your screen if
yeah,
possible?
yeah, sure. I can share my screen. That's perfect. Let's do that. Present. Share screen. Yeah, perfect. So type in the name of your business to Google and make sure you're logged in with the email that manages it. And then you want to click on performance. And then you want to scroll down and you want to see what this search breakdown is right here. So we can see the number one search that people are typing in when her business is popping up is pooper scooper. And so you can see pet waste removal isn't here. We can get a list of more. Pet waste removal might be lower down or something. But for most businesses, I think poop scooping or pooper scooper is going to get you more juice than like pet waste removal. But yes, you could add either one of those to your DBA so that you can add those to your Google Business Profile legally.
I've noticed for myself, either pooper scooper or dog poop pickup or my actual brand name are the
Mm-hmm.
highest terms people are searching for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you have a strong brand, you'll see that as it's a great sign. Like people are typing in your business name directly, which means they want to find you. And also, quick hack: be the best advertising dollars you spend. Go create a Google ad campaign. Do it for branded keywords. So when you do cost per click advertising, you're basically you're paying to pop up when someone types in a specific word into the query, into the search bar, right? And what you want to do is you want to type in, you want to make those words that you're trying to rank for, or you're paying to be at the top for, your business name. So that's what we've done from day one with Review Harvest. I can't afford to spend millions of dollars a year on Google ads like Podium and Bird Eye, some of the massive, super expensive review softwares can, but I can't afford to spend $1 to $5 every time somebody types in Review Harvest to make sure we're up at the top. And in the beginning, when we didn't have a lot of, we didn't have a lot of SEO juice. We weren't really ranking very well for our business name. Even this was very powerful. Now we've got enough kind of groundwork laid where we pop up organically for Review Harvest. But if you just run ads for your business name on those Google ads, branded, just look up branded keyword ads on Google, and you'll find a training on YouTube on how to do it. But it'll be some of the best marketing dollars you spend, some of the highest converting marketing dollars you spend, because these people are looking for you. And what you also might find if you have any clever competitors, they might be running ads for your business name. So your competitors might be adding your business name as a keyword that they want to pop up at the top for and pay for traffic for.
And you can be even sneakier by, if you're going to be doing like manual CPC, for example, you can drive up the cost of their own keywords and make them completely spend their whole budget on just 2 or 3 queries because you're paying $100 to Google just to type in someone's
Yeah,
branded key term.
yeah, yeah,
That's more of an advanced hack. Most people shouldn't be doing that because like focus on what you can control. Don't really care about what your competitors are doing.
yeah.
But when you have buku bucks and you don't care what you're spending, you want to essentially kill your competition. That's what you could do.
Mm.
Josh E, with the onset of AI taking over search, should we focus more on AEO optimization? What is AEO?
AI engine optimization. So
That's what I'm
like
assuming.
Perplexity, ChatGPT, all the other stuff where people are searching. Um, this is a great question. Right now, I'd say no. They actually surveyed Whitespark and Sterling Sky, both surveyed 5,000 ChatGPT and other AI users. and it still said that 87% of the free users on no 85% of the free users on ChatGPT still prefer to use Google over any sort of AI search engine. And then for the paid users, which is a little interesting, for the paid users of an AI platform like ChatGPT or whatever, 87% still prefer to use Google over over ChatGPT or something like, or Perplexity or something like that for AI search. So I would still put all of your juice into Google. And Google obviously has their own AI search feature that they haven't fully rolled out to all local businesses. Like if you are to type in like how big is such and such bike model or something, you're going to get an AI answer on Google. And it's an immediate, it tells you exactly what it is. It's actually kind of awesome. It's great.
It's
You know,
called it's called position zero.
once it like actually gets more accurate, like there's still some times where it's not super accurate, but it's going to be it's really huge. And where is Google getting all that information? Where are they getting all that information to say best poop scooper in my area? Actually, like in the big cities, like in Seattle, if you type in best poop scooper in Seattle, it's going to give you an AI search result. But you know what they're pulling from? They're pulling from the Google Business Profile, and they're pulling from the websites. And so that just goes back to, you just still need to focus on your Google Business Profile, and you need to focus on your website. So
That's amazing. So we have 16 people on the live stream. This is amazing. Make sure you like the video, give Clay some love, check out Review Harvest. There's going to be a link down below, or you go to poopscoopsfornoobs.com/review harvest if you want to try it out. We'll talk a little bit more about Review Harvest, but before we get to the final myth, we do have some time left on the live stream. So what I want to do first is bring up this. So Clay, he's gracious enough to be willing to completely roast and destroy your website or your Google business profile. So if while we talk about SEO myth number 5, if you type in review harvest all in one word into the chat, you will be put into this giveaway tool, and we will select someone randomly to get your website roasted by Clay. But in the meantime, Justin Ray, how can I trust handling over my CRM client list and details to you when I promised them I would never sell their personal information? Ooh, that
yeah,
is a good
great question.
question.
Great question, Ray. So one thing to know is that we are SOC 2 certified. What that means is it's basically just a compliance rating where they have independent people come and, you know, look at your software, look at your database, and make sure it's secured from hackers and stuff like that. And the other thing is that we don't do anything else with your customers' data besides request reviews on your behalf. And so that's all we do. We're not selling it. We're not putting it into lookalike audiences. We're not grouping it together and marketing to them. We're not doing anything like that. We're just requesting reviews on your behalf. And so, you know, your discretion, you can do whatever you like with that, but we've never had an issue or anything like that.
Tyler said Tony's mic's a little quiet. I got the sound bar cranked and you're a whisper. Am I sounding okay? Do I need the mic closer to me?
I gotcha.
I watch all of Clay's videos. I wish I would have found his channel before I signed up for Go High Level. I would have signed up for Review Harvest, but I geek out trying it for my scooping business. If people didn't know, Clay has a channel for Review Harvest, but he also has a big YouTube channel for Go High Level. And he was telling me a little bit, it's his side hustle now, but I think it's great with all the content that you're making for Go High Level. I think it's one of those tools that slept on in this industry with all the automations and all the features.
Yeah.
But it's great that you're making a lot of content for that tool.
Yeah, and I'll let everybody know. I think most of our users know this. So when I got started 2 years ago, I built everything off of High Level. I built the whole entire Review Harvest system off of Review Harvest. Off of High Level. And in the past 6 months, I don't know how to code. I know how to use no code tools. I know a little bit. I know enough to be dangerous. But in the past 6 or 7 months, I brought on a developer to build out our own custom software from scratch. So we're no longer using High Level. I still use High Level for like email marketing and some automations and stuff like that. But in terms of actually what Review Harvest is, we built out our own software, our own something from scratch. So we can have a lot more flexibility, and it'll be a lot more valuable asset just going forward, since we're not relying on any white label tools or anything like that. We can do it all on our own.
How hard was it to get your developer, especially if you don't have like a coding background? Like, how do you know they're actually doing what you need them to do?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. I talk to a lot of developers, and when you talk to developers, like I talk to either dev agencies, like development agencies, where I basically just talk to a sales guy. I talk to a sales guy who, just be like, yeah, we can do that, and had no technical knowledge whatsoever, right? And had no idea what the price would be or anything like that, right? And then you can talk to like a straight up developer, and you have to like speak to them in code speak so they actually understand what you're saying, and they don't really understand the business side of it. And Matt, the developer I've been working with, and he'll probably become a partner in Review Harvest. He knows both sides, and I think I forget. I think it's Alex Ramosi. Somebody says like you can tell how competent somebody is in their domain expertise based off how like little instructions you give them, and they can just run with it, right? So like if you wanted to hire somebody off the street and pay them $1 an hour to follow up your leads, you'd be like, all right, step one, turn the phone on. Step two, download this app. Step three, you have to tell them every single step. With Matt, it was like, hey, here's what I do in high level. I want to build this my own custom software, so it gets better results for people, so it's easier to onboard, so it's just a better process all around, better customer experience. And he was like, got it. And within a couple of weeks, we had kind of version 1 up, and now we're 6 months down the line, and it's turned into something great.
How'd you find him?
We were connected through a mutual friend. Yeah, and it kind of we were talking about a small project originally. And then just after 3, 4, 5 meetings, we just kind of organically grew. And I was like, I love working with this guy. I think he loves working with me. And we're both very focused and very dedicated to building the best best software we can for local business owners to get Google reviews. Not worried about all the other millions of features and all the stuff we could add, but just to stay in our lane and say, hey, how can we build the best thing possible for reviews? And so we both kind of enjoyed that and just kind of transformed into this.
That's amazing. And I do think like software is that it's the hidden gem. Like we're all pooper scoopers, but the real money is in like software, and any SaaS related business is the real money maker.
It's so hard though. It's so hard.
It's so competitive.
It's so challenging. And there's two sides of every coin. Obviously, there's a lot of leverage in software, but one thing I always tell local business owners is that if you own a poop scooting business in a certain area, you've got to be better than 10 or 15 people, right? You've got to be like one of the top 3 out of those 10 or 15 people, and you can make a bunch of money. You can make a great sum of money just being the best in your local area, right? Now you go to anything online, anything software, now you need to be the best in the world, especially software. Software is a winner-take-all market. The best software should be able to acquire all the users and serve them. And so it's very, very competitive. And you're dealing with a lot of noise out in the market, where for y'all got to compete against just your area, your 15 other people or 10 other people, depending on how many competitors you have. Some of y'all might have 3 or 4. And so it's a different game for sure.
And the reality with like software businesses, a lot of them are backed by private equity, and they're willing to burn millions of dollars over 1, 2, 3, 5 years just to capture market share.
Yeah, and the vast majority of them still fail, which is crazy.
So it's amazing what you've been able to accomplish with Review Harvest. So I tip my hat to you, good sir.
Appreciate it.
So we're gonna go into myth number 5. Remember, 19 people on the live stream. Hit the like on this video. Subscribe if you're not here. Make sure you type in Review Harvest, one word altogether, if you want a chance to get a live roast by Clay. But myth number 5, is it better to have one Google business profile or multiple profiles if you have a large service area? So this is a selfish question. My biggest competitor, I see they have 5 or 6 Google business profiles. And if I tally it all up, I'm technically number 3 on Google business with the number of reviews, but they have 2 locations that have a bunch more reviews. I'm wondering, is it better for me to focus all of my efforts on my one Google business profile, or should I do a shotgun approach and have as many profiles as possible?
Yeah. So the short answer is that having multiple profiles will 100% help you rank better. It'll be, if you want to rank well in a large service area, you want to have multiple profiles. The tricky thing is to do this right and not put all your other profiles at risk. It requires a decent amount of work, right? So your competitor, I don't know for a fact, but your competitor may be using friends and family's addresses. They may be using virtual PO offices or co-working spaces. They may be using their employees' addresses. They may be using things that are not compliant with Google to do that. And so the main way Google governs this stuff is businesses reporting other businesses. So if you see businesses in your area doing things that are against Google's terms of service, you can go to their Google Business Profile and file a complaint. There's also a form I can find that link and just add the form and file a complaint that you don't think these profiles are legit. Because the legitimate way to get multiple profiles is that you have to have a registered business, right? You have to have a registered business to get one. Google wants you to have a staffed employee at that location during service hours. And so this is tricky for service area businesses, right? But for the most part, it's basically meaning that you have an employee that is dedicated to that area. For a service area business, if somebody's not going there, right? Another thing is they want to see that you've got separate staff for each location. I mean, like the list kind of goes on. I wrote them all down so I don't forget. It has to be an eligible address. That's basically saying this needs to be like an office, right? It can't be a co-working space. It can't be a friend's house. It can't be an employee's house or an apartment or anything like that. It's supposed to be an office. And so the sort of legit way to do this would be to do it for a good price. The sort of legit way to do this would be find businesses that are where you want to rank or where you want to be, and ask them if they've got a closet or an additional office. And like they might pay $1,000 a month in rent for their entire office, but they might have a room that they don't really use. And so you could basically say, hey, I want to rent out this room. I want to be able to use your mailing address for this. And I want to put my signage here. And I'm going to have a guy here that might come here once a week or whatever, but he's technically going to be assigned to this location. And so it has to be an eligible address. It can't just be a home, right? The second thing is it has to be a completely different service area. And so like all these things I'm listing out, go look and see if your competitor is not doing these things. And then technically you could report them. And the tricky thing is once you mess this up, if you go get multiple Google Business Profiles and you are not up to date, you are not up to code on all of them, you're not doing the right way, it puts your legit profile at risk. It puts all of your profiles at risk. And so people that do this, the bad way, like the not compliant way, that are smart, will have every single Google Business Profile separated under a different Gmail and different stuff so that, it's not all linked as easily. But yeah, so you have to be eligible address, needs to be a different service area. You don't want the service areas to overlap, right? The Google doesn't like to see that. They don't want the service area to be like 2 hours driving distance. It needs to be like tighter than 2 hours. There's kind of, people have thoughts on how big the service area should actually be, but that's kind of what people go by. You don't want to be 2 hours farther away. And it has to be a separate phone number, and the website needs a link to a separate page on your site. So you need to have a specific location page on your website for that particular location. And that's kind of like all the things. So I know that's a lot, but that's kind of how you get a legit second Google Business Profile and don't risk your account getting shut down and your legitimate Google Business Profile getting shut down.
Is there a limit or a size of service area where, okay, I'm in Ogden, Utah. I know if I'm 10 miles away or the end user is 10 miles away, I'm still more likely to show up on Google compared to if they're 20 miles away or 30 miles away. Like, what's that limit to where your actual geo or your service area on Google is compared to the likelihood you'll show up on search?
Yeah, so your service area actually has like really no ranking juice for it. Like you can't just put a service area as I'm here. It's not gonna help you rank higher there. Google's using all the other data as in terms of like the keywords on your website, the heading tags on your website. Like, do you have this specific city or neighborhood or whatever on that specific page? So they're using all that data to assign where you're located, not just your service area grid. But proximity is a huge ranking factor, right? So if you had a page dedicated to a specific neighborhood and you had a specific Google Business Profile for that neighborhood, somebody in that neighborhood is typing that in, you're going to pop up because proximity is a huge thing for search, especially with brick and mortar, but with service areas business, less so.
Why does Google make it so hard to win?
They've got to balance keeping out the bad actors, but also making it easy for the legit businesses to operate, from a legitimate standpoint and get a business verified, get multiple businesses verified if they have it. So they have to kind of balance that seesaw of like, right now they're making it really hard for bad actors and for legit businesses to get verified and do that sort of stuff. But I think the pendulum is finally swinging back to where I think they're going to start making it a little bit easier. Hopefully, they hear our concerns. They posted videos about it. They know it's a deal. So we'll see.
And I remember like when I created my Google business profile, it was so easy. They just mailed me a postcard with like a 4-digit code and they're like, "Okay, you're verified."
The glory days. The glory days.
Now I
Sometimes
just I
people
just go ahead.
people even used to get phone calls or texts to verify it. Like that's how easy it was. Those were the glory days.
And now I just hear nightmare situations of people like a year later they still can't get a profile created.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
So those were all the myths that we were going to talk about today. Clay still has a little bit of time with us today, so there are 4 entries into this giveaway tool. So we're about to see who's going to get roasted.
Who we got?
Susan Duffield, you're about to get roasted by Clay. So, Susan, if you're able to type in either your business name or your website or anything into the chat, and then we can pull it up on our end, and then Clay, you're just going to roast as much as you can.
Let's
But
do it.
in the meantime, Blast, full stack dev here. Been copying the features like customer add card on file, on website contact form with neat sliders, etc. It is a bonus if you can code. I pay only $4 a month for my VPS front and back end.
I got nothing.
I got nothing for that either. I have a programming background. I went to school for programming, and now I pick up dog food for a living. So I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Cue those horns again. I'll cue some horns again. Oh my god, thank you. So Susan, whenever I think the issue that's happening right now is like some people are watching the live stream, but they're watching maybe a couple seconds or a couple minutes behind. So when they catch up to the point where I say, "Hey Susan, give us your website link or your profile," then she'll actually give it to us.
Awesome. I'll see if I can do some sleuthing in the meantime to find it before she gives it to us.
And in the meantime, while we wait for Susan to give us her information, Clay, what inspired you to start Review Harvest?
Yeah, I have a marketing agency background. That's what I had in high school and in college. I owned a marketing agency, and I was doing a lot of different things for a lot of different businesses. And I just saw that reviews was a common thread among all of them, right? They all needed more reviews. And I felt like there was a easy, scalable way that I would be able to deliver that service for people. The issue with the agency was I was doing a lot of custom work, a lot of one-off work and all that stuff. And I wanted to figure out what's something I can, sell over and over again that's going to provide an amazing result every single time. Because one of the worst parts for me about running an agency was I remember days where I would work on a client's account for an entire day to make sure that they were getting good results and stuff. But that whole time, my other clients were getting pushed off to the wayside, and I wasn't able to get them the results that I felt like they deserved, right? And so I was like, what is a service? What's something I can provide that I can do for everybody? And when I focus on doing something else or whatever, I'm not worried about people's results slipping through the cracks,
I'm just typing a message to Susan right now.
I'm glad that anything right, so I'll be arrested because I'm a chicken. Lawrence Tucker said, is it Review Harvest for established business owners or
not a brand new business?
Yeah. So the great part about Review Harvest is actually we have pay per review pricing. So you don't have to worry about paying a flat monthly rate of $100 a month if you just have a couple customers or one customer, right? You can get started with Review Harvest. You can get the full suite of our tools, automations, requesting reviews, responding reviews, repurposing reviews. You can get all that for $10 a month. If you only get one review, it's $10 a month, And so we finally made a software that's scalable, whether you're a small business or a big business. It makes sense to get it started from day one because we want to get that review flywheel turning as soon as possible. The more reviews you have, the more customers you get. The more customers you get, the more reviews you get. And it goes round and round and round. And so you want to get that turning as soon as possible. And so that's why I wanted to incorporate that pay-per-review pricing to make it a no-brainer no matter what size your business is.
Rock and Rooster, is it bad to use a free Google site for a website?
So Google's like native Google Business Profile site is no longer active, but there are services like Whitespark and a couple others that will just like pull the information from your Google Business Profile, and they will create a website for you. And so that's better than nothing. I would say it's better than nothing. You definitely want to invest in a professional site, but it's definitely better than nothing.
We still haven't heard from Susan, so I'm about to just do another giveaway. Whoever's watching, there's 20 people on the live stream. Hopefully you're watching live in person instead of even David said, run it back to the randomizer. Well, here's your chance, David. Type in the word noobs and we're going to do a roast.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
What did Susan say? So I was driving, but I just pulled over. This is so awesome. I actually don't have what?
A Google Business Profile?
Do you have a website, Susan? Our official LLC name is Pain in the Grass LLC. Our logo says Pain in the Grass Dog Waste Removal. Our GBP says Pain in the Grass LLC Pooper Scoopers. Will that inconsistency potentially flag us?
Potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. You might want to get a DBA that adds Pooper Scoopers, but once again, Google governs this stuff mainly based off of other people reporting it. So you could have that for years and it can never get reported, or it could get reported tomorrow. And a lot of times when you change your business name, a lot of times Google will just change it back. They're not going to, a lot of times they don't restrict your account or punish you or anything. They just basically change it back and you get an email that says, hey, this is actually your business name, not this. And they just change it for you. And if that actually is your DBA name, that's your official LLC name, then you can kind of report back and say, actually, no, this is legit. Here's the documentation. And you win, Google loses.
So Susan says she actually doesn't have a website or a profile yet. So I guess we won't be able to roast you, Susan, but you did win. You got some
congrats.
You got the congrats, you got the air horns and everything, but we got 5 people who submitted, so we're about to draw this. Let me do the drum roll. Let's go. Let's go. Mr. John Noonan. I already know. So what do you want to do? You want to do his profile or his website?
He's got everything dialed in. I don't even know why he entered.
I know, like he just wants to show off his website at this point. He just said you can skip me if you want. I mean, maybe we'll draw again.
John, I can send you a video if you want it. Let me just tell me.
We're just gonna do another. We're gonna do another.
John, I'll run a grid for you just to make sure. But last time I checked, you were crushing it.
Oh, Alicia Miller, she got it, and I know her website. It's awesome. Bark and Scoops. Bark and Scoop.
Where is she located?
Broward County, Florida.
Oh, all right. Another Florida native. Awesome. All right, let's check it out. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen.
And I posted in the chat her business name, Bark and Scoop.
Perfect. Let's see. Yep. Okay, perfect. All right, I'll share my screen. Let's see what we can do. All right, can y'all see Bark and Scoop here?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right, so I got the website pulled up here. So we've got Broward County Pooper Scooper Service. I'm loving that. I know exactly what you do and I know exactly where you do it. There's this extension called Detailed SEO. It's free. What this is going to do, it'll show you if all kind of your basics of SEO is done correctly. So we can see the title's great. That's perfect. We've got home pooper scooper service, Broward County, Florida. Looks good. You might want to consider testing poop scoop service, like having some poop scoop service and some pooper scooper service, just to kind of delineate the two. But let me make sure I'm running this report really quickly for you. I will do pooper scooper because that's what let's do poop scooping because you probably are right. Poop scooping. All right. And we'll search. All right. And so if we go back to this, we can see description. So this description, you want to make sure this is like the SEO metadata of your site. So this is going to be on your website builder on WordPress. Looks like this is probably on WordPress. You can change your SEO metadata, and you want this description to be less than 155 characters, but more than 70, and you do want it to have your keywords in it. So you see dedicated pooper scooper service to provide pet waste removal services. I would probably add your service area in here.
Sorry, what are you looking at? Because I'm only seeing her website.
Oh, you know what? I know why. One second. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for letting me know that. It's here we go. All right.
Got it.
Sweet. Okay. So now, yeah, so it's called detailed SEO. You can see this pop up here. We can see we got lots of green. So in this description, this is their SEO metadata. Looks good. It's the right number of characters in between 70 and 155, but you want to probably add your service area in there as well. So I would probably add Broward County, and you want to like test out or add additional, like you have Broward County here multiple times. Maybe try out some cities near you. That might kind of give Google some better relevance, because people might be typing in the city name, Poop Scoop Service, city name, Pompano, wherever you're near, instead of Broward County. But all this looks good except for the headings. So H1, if we go click on headings here, you have two H1s. So what that means is someone types in, I'm trying not to get too technical here, but someone types in a service to Google, your service in your area or whatever. Google's going to go figure out who to rank. And the first thing that Google is trying to figure out for a business of like, or for a website of what you do, their little bots are going to crawl the site. And the very first thing that they're going to read to figure out what to rank you for is the H1. So that's the H1 on your site. That can be done through through the meta tags of your website builder. You just want to make sure it's an H1 and not H4 or H5 or whatever. And you see you've got two of them. So it's a little bit confusing. So what I would do is I would probably change Broward County to an H2. You want to make sure you only have one H1. It kind of confuses. Other than that, everything looks good. These are all nested well. You just want to have H2s, H3s, all that looks fine. So yeah, all that looks good. In terms of the report, let's see how it came back. All right, so this is what's called a heat map. You hear it called a bunch of different things, like GeoGrid, heat map, whatever. What this is doing is this is simulating a poop scooping. It's simulating somebody typing in poop scooping in each one of these areas. So somebody in Coral Springs, if they type in poop scooping, you're ranking number 9. And so, but if someone in Pompano Beach, right where you're located, it's typing in poop scooping, you're ranking number 2. And so the most important metric to look for here is your share of local voice. It's pretty small down here, but what the share of local voice means, it means what percent of the time in this little grid we just ran, what percent of this time are you popping up on the first page of Google? And so she's only popping up 2% of the time on the first page of Google. And so what that means is that it's only on these 1 through 3 listings where she's in that map pack and she's on the first page. And so you can look at some of her competitors. We can see Tidy Pet Pooper Scoopers. We can see Scoop Hero. These people are beating you. And so honestly, obviously the first thing that points out to me, because I'm a review guy, is that you only have 2 reviews. So we definitely want to get your review number up in terms of total, and also want consistency. Something Google is really pushing is review recency. So Google wants to see that you're consistently getting reviews every single week. There's businesses that have 2,000 reviews and businesses that have 300 reviews, and if that business with 2,000 reviews hasn't gotten a review in 3 months, but the person with 300 reviews is getting reviews every single week consistently, Google's been giving them an increase. Google's been giving them a push up in that specific leg, and sometimes it means they rank higher than them. And so you definitely want to make sure you get your reviews in order here. We got some websites, we got some memes. Oh yeah, we got a personal photo. I love that. Like, this is perfect. This is what I want. I wish every local business did this immediately. As soon as they get any sort of branded shirts, magnets to go in their vehicle, anything, go take photos. Go take photos. Show people the face behind the magic. I would even say that same thing on your site. I want to say, oh, you see, we got it right here. Perfect. Yeah, you want people to see who you are. It just adds a personal vibe to your website. But as we scroll down here, we see Pooper Scooper service, reliable, locally owned, Coconut Creek, Florida. All looks good. In terms of the actual website, we've got some FAQs in here, pretty in depth. That's great. We got the Google Maps embedded here. You probably also want to add your Google Maps embed. So what that looks like is this. Let me just go to Fresh Start Pet Waste Removal. So if you scroll down, you can see this is a your Google Business Profile embed. How you get that is you just go to your Google business profile. Let's do this. We go here, we share, embed a map,
Hmm.
and you just copy this HTML and you paste it on your site.
Does that matter where you post it? Like, should it be in the footer?
Footer is like the most common place. It doesn't really matter too much in terms of ranking, but it does like where it is in the site, but it does help you rank a little bit higher. Just having that relevancy between the two, Google seeing consistency of, oh yeah, this website is connected to this Google business profile. Got it. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know about that Google Map embedding.
Yeah, for sure. But in terms of, so let's see, looks like we're not, oh yeah, here we go. We got some pages here. So this looks good. I would say, and this probably looks a little bit weird because my monitor is so big, so it expands the websites to make them massive. But I would say add a little bit more text. Google's the easiest thing for Google to read is actual copy and text on your website. You don't want to blow it up and make it super text heavy because then nobody wants to read that and it's going to convert worse. But I would probably add some text. So my suggestion to you would be, if possible, in a compliant way, add your main service name, Poop Scooping, to your business name here. The other thing I would do is make sure you're emphasizing Google reviews. Make sure you're consistently getting more reviews. Because if we look at your ranking, we look at your competitors like Tidy Scoopers here. They've got 48 reviews. So that's a lot more reviews than you have. Superheroes got 45. Number 2 crew, they've got 137. And so you can see that all the people that are ranking above you have a lot more reviews. And if you're just getting started, that's okay. I'd recommend going and asking anyone. Google says anyone who has interacted, not transacted, but interacted with your business has the grounds to leave you a Google review. So if you've interacted with your friends, you've interacted with your family, you've told them about your business, you've given them a free scoop, start asking for reviews to as many people as you can.
And they can review you on your personality, on your who you are as a person. It doesn't necessarily need to be a review about your service.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And you can call it like character review versus a service review. Like they don't have to lie and say they did an amazing job scoop my yard. They could say they're an awesome person and they'll take care of you. And they'll scoop your yard well. And if something happens, they'll make sure you're taken care of and fix it, right? So
John had a question. I know we're running out of time, but John had a question. Is it better to use that map versus one made in Photoshop for my website?
Technically, from an SEO perspective, I believe it is better to use that actual map. That's HTML. That's code from Google that they can recognize to know that this is what it is, right? This is your Google Maps embed. Whereas if you're doing something for Photoshop or whatever, they're not going to recognize that as well as they would the embed. And so technically, yes. Once again, the Google Map embed is not one of those like top 4 or 5 ranking factors, right? It's smaller down to a smaller level. The big things are, like I've said it a bunch, but the big things is like having the proper main business category. So if we look at her business, let's see, these are all the other ones. Where are we at? Here we are. Yep, waste management service. This is pretty much standard. Maybe one day Google will add pet waste removal. That would be sick, right? And hopefully they'll do that here soon. But your main business category is correct. If you can put your keywords in the business name, that'd be great. Get a bunch more reviews. I would also probably recommend going to something like look up. Let me see SEO. Go to Fiverr and you can just get some quality citations. So I've used this guy a lot. So look up citations. Let me see who I've used. This guy right here. So what these are is he's basically going to go put your business on Yelp and Yellow Pages and all this stuff, your name, address, and phone number. You can go do this yourself. You can go do this manually. It's just going to take some time to go and like create an account on each one. And so they'll do them for you. They do 350 for $60. You'd probably be fine just doing the 50 local citations for $5. But they obviously have a process to get that done really quickly where it would take us a lot longer. But yeah.
We're almost out of time. Stephanie Nutt, do you think poop scooping or pooper scoopers is the best thing to add to your name? I think a lot of us OGs have dog waste removal, but sounds like that's not what's being searched.
Yeah, in my experience, I'm seeing poop scooping and pooper scooper being searched more than pet waste removal or dog waste removal. But the best way, Stephanie, is really to go to your Google business profile and actually see what your business is ranking for. and what people are typing in already. I would probably just play around with it, and because you'll see that those queries are going to change based off of what keywords you're using, right? So if you put dog waste removal in your business name, then of course you're going to have dog waste removal as your query. That might not mean it's the number one. That might not mean what most people are typing in. And so you might want to play around with it and try and figure out in your area. I would probably start with poop scooping though.
Clay, you were super awesome today. Oh, I lost you. Hold on. I don't know what happened with my computer. Oh, here we go. Clay, you've been awesome today. I want to make sure that I share some love for Review Harvest. Review Harvest is the platform that I use to gather reviews. Clay, he's created Review Harvest. Any final words about Review Harvest and what's the value people can get with your service?
Yeah, for sure. So, like we mentioned earlier, now that we have the pay-per-review pricing, it really makes sense for businesses at any size. So, even if you're getting a whole bunch of reviews, we even have a monthly cap to make sure your bill isn't getting outrageous, right? But we're going to make it really easy for you to request reviews, respond to reviews, and repurpose reviews. It's like a one-time 5 to 10 minute setup. Depending on whether you use Jobber or Sweep and Go, it's a really, really easy integration for either one of those two. You can have it set up in 10 or 15 minutes. If you sign up during business hours, we'll probably call you. If you sign up right after this, I probably won't call you because I've got to run right after this. And Carly's going to be at that dinner too, so she won't call you either. But if you sign up during business hours, we'll probably call you and walk you through the process of getting everything set up to make sure it's set up properly. And we're more than willing to hop on an onboarding call with you and make sure everything's set up properly. But at the end of the day, we're going to save you a whole bunch of time for having to go manually follow it up and figure out who left a review and who hasn't and who should I text again or whatever. We're going to take all that off your plate so you get more customers and you can save hours every single week.
Probably the most important question of today, Clay. Clay, did you really pick up dog poop with your hands for that ad I saw?
100%. I did it. 100%. That was not AI. That wasn't anything. I was trying to find something fresh. Carly was like, use that one. It's petrified. It's like, it didn't really mess anything up. I was trying to find a fresh one that I could squeeze and it'd come between my fingertips. It'd be so worth it for the ad. It'd be so worth it to see that. It'd be so much better. So anytime I'm like looking out the window, anytime I see a big dog walking around the neighborhood, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go follow that dog and get a big fresh one and go make the ad again.
You're hilarious, Clay. So make sure you check out Review Harvest, poopscoopsfornoobs.com/Review Harvest. Clay, you were super gracious with your time today. Awesome live stream. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who joined the live stream, and thanks for joining us. I'll see you on the next scoop. And as always, acknowledge the now. Bye.